Alrighty. Another live stream. Wowie. Turn down my music just a tad right now since I'm starting the stream. I know no one's here, but I'll explain what I'm doing anyway, because anyone that ends up watching this later. This is a commission for a user on Twitter, and I decided to live stream tonight at like 2 a.m., so let's do this. I basically have the sketch done. I don't know why I decided to live stream it. Just my brain was like, you know what, we can live stream tonight, why not? So, we're here. This character. I'm trying to think what their name is. Also, if you hear a lot of fans in the background, I apologize. I have several fans going because they keep me cool. It's summertime and California heat, so yeah. I'm not sure if the person gave me a name of their character. Calypso. That's what their character's name is. I actually think this character is really cute. Their design is really cute. I am going to struggle on the dress. Definitely, but I will try my best to do this character justice. The person that actually commissioned me is a person that I attacked on a art fight this year. They were the last person I attacked, I think. And they're like, bruh, I really like your art, and I was like, oh god, thank you. I really do appreciate when the people I attack comment on the attacks I make, because I like seeing if they like it or not. It's like, do you like it? Please validate me. I might actually be right back. I know I just started the stream, but I have to do something real quick, even if it is at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Had to take care of some pets. Also, if you ever hear meowing, that is my cat probably screaming at me to come to bed. So, I have no idea if I'm going to finish this tonight. But I just wanted to get this out of the way because I need to secure the money for this. I guess I'll kind of explain for anyone that doesn't, I guess, understand the commission process. Because I know there are people out there that are curious how you take commissions, how does the money exchange work, and stuff like that. So, might as well explain it now that I'm thinking about it. So for me, I have a page with my commission prices and examples over on DeviantArt because that's just the easiest for me, and that's where I was taking my commissions initially. I have been thinking about making like a Google Doc just because I think some of the stuff is easier to do there. And that way I can edit it easily and not have to like do like an image. I really don't like doing image commission sheets. I'm just not able to get the aesthetic I want. So I prefer doing the ones on DeviantArt. But anyway, hold on. So after, you know, the prices and stuff, I personally have a terms of service with my commissions. But it's nothing too special. It's just a basic thing. And mainly to protect me and the person that is also getting the commission. I have a thing on there, like if you want to use it for commercial use, like making it into a sticker and selling it, maybe at a con or something, because possibly you're a cosplayer or you're a Twitch streamer, you know, you would pay me a certain percentage of the commission cost, which it isn't too much, honestly, compared to some other artists, considering I'm not a super big artist, but you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And it has like a refund policy and stuff like that, you know. Because like if you do a sketch already, you don't want to just do a complete refund. It's like I did a sketch for you, and if you're canceling all of a sudden, you know, and I've done some work here, I'm gonna take some of the refund. I'm not gonna refund you the entire thing because I've already done some work. But anyway, so after, you know, the money exchange, I know some people use like coffee or Ko-fi for taking money. I know there's still hold on. I know there's still some users that use DeviantArt points I find that younger users tend to use DeviantArt points if they don't have a PayPal, because you can someday redeem your DeviantArt points into into real money on PayPal, because that's what I did personally. For a long time, I was taking DeviantArt point commissions, and then I converted them into money onto PayPal. I think actually my first thing on DeviantArt was actually I made a check, which I never cashed in. I have no idea where that sucker is. So I just have like $20 from DeviantArt that I have no idea where it is. And then after that I just did PayPal after I turned 18, because I was like, I just wanted my money instantly, basically. And I had a DeviantArt whatchamacallit, I had Core, which honestly, I'm gonna admit, sometimes Core isn't worth it on DeviantArt. And I know I personally don't have it anymore, and that's, I will say also a factor into that is because I personally just take transactions straight through PayPal nowadays, and I don't do DA points anymore. So yeah, I know there's some people that with DeviantArt points, they or with PayPal, they do, I think they're called, you inquire about the money or something like that. I forgot what the term is for PayPal. But I personally just send my email to the person that is commissioning me. I find it easier. Depending on what type of account you have though on PayPal, you can get a PayPal .me link, which will kind of take them to like a to like a shop, I guess. To have like your profile picture and I think a little bit of a description that you put in there. But I usually just send my email because it's easier. And yeah, and then also I do use my PayPal usually for like actual, like, I don't usually go and like cash it in my bank or something. I usually I have a PayPal card, which you can get. Is a pretty easy debit card from PayPal. And you can just spend your money straight from PayPal, and I usually do that. But a rule of thumb I have made when it comes to my commissions is that I do not spend any money that I have not technically secured as my own. Because technically the money that is in my PayPal, like for example this commission, I would say maybe $5 is mine from this commission alone right now. Because this commission is a fully shaded bust, or render as some people would like put it. So I have not technically fully completed my side of the transaction. So until I have fully, you know, committed to it or finished it, the money will still belong, or part of the money will still belong to the person that commissioned me. So that's kind of, I would say, a big thing with commissions. I've seen a lot of artists just spend the money they get, and I know some artists have to do that because they have like bills and stuff to pay. But I personally am just not comfortable spending the money that I do technically not own yet, because I'm afraid that I'll get screwed over, and I just don't want to have that happen. And I also don't want to stress out a commissioner being like, oh my god, I need that money back, or some of it at least, and be like, oh shit, well here's the thing, but I may have spent that. So I personally try to refrain from using any commission money that I haven't solidly made mine. I'm just concerned about the commissioner and myself. It's to protect me and them. Because sometimes stuff happens to where they're like, yeah, I can't, I need some of my money back, and be like, okay. And it'd be like that, and you gotta just do it. Especially if you're a slower artist sometimes with commissions. Like, do not spend that money, because sometimes after a while your commissioner might need to be like, hey, I need that money back, you're taking this much time, or something like that. There are some commissioners out there that are like that. They're like, you're taking too long, because they don't understand how long it can take with a commission, considering sometimes some artists have a harder time getting the ideas for the commission, or how would I explain it? Like art block. Like, I've had that happen to me where it's like, I have art block right now. I'm sorry if I take a while. And I always I have in my terms of service that my commissions can take longer than a month. I'm thinking of extending the time, just to be like, hey, it can take a hot minute. Don't expect it, you know, super quick. Sometimes I can get it done within a few days to like maybe a week, and then there's other times where it's just like, yeah, no, it just ain't clicking, because, you know, it's art. It takes a hot minute, and I'm of the personal belief where I want to give my commissioners the best I can give, and that I'm satisfied with it, because there have been a couple in the past where it's just like, I'm just not fully skilled enough to get this to fully look right compared to how it looks in my head. But for the most part, the commissions I do are I am happy with them, and I try to not take commissions that might be out of my skill level. Like, I don't do mecha and stuff like that, because sweet baby Jesus, will I fail? And so, yeah, I try to refrain from doing out of my element. But I should probably skip the song, because I don't know how the way that Japanese copyright is a bit weird. So actually, I'm just gonna go to Go to my Rays of Light playlist. This is my more, I guess, chill playlist I have. But as I was saying, I try to stay in my element with art nowadays. And luckily for me, I have grown a lot in the past couple years with humans and stuff. I used to absolutely suck at drawing people. And I would be like, how people that draw like humans or like humanoids, you're like, what are you? You're demons. I don't know how you do this witchcraft. Or now it's like, okay, I can kind of understand the way to draw people. I'm not perfect at it by any means, but I can draw a decent person and not feel like I'm completely out of my element. There are certain things that I still very much struggle with when I draw people. Hair can be a bit complicated because it's just... hair is very much part of a character and their personality, and so when you mess it up, you're like, shit, this doesn't look like the character. And so I struggled, I think, for the longest time with how I did hair. Nowadays I'm pretty good with hair. I can get, as long as I can get it to as close as I think it can be for the character, I don't mind. And as long as, too, you try your best is what ultimately matters with a lot of art. And I know personally with me, I look forward to like Art Fight every year because that's when I get, I think, my most practice done within the year, especially if I do them back to back, because I think Art Fight really is the time of the year where I get to kind of show off what new skills I've learned and how I like to style that year. Like, I know, I think it's my art from 27... no, it wouldn't be 2017. It would be like 2019, I believe. Let me look. It would be... also, if you hear me drinking water, please forgive me. It would be from... what year would this be? 2019. Like, 2019, I did a lot of, different types of fur shading. I did a lot of, like, shiny fur stuff. And I think this was one of the better years for me that I had probably my most growth. It was when I started to get a little bit more comfortable in doing like anthro art and whatnot. And then like 2020, I think I was still kind of finding that good border. And then last year was just kind of like, I'm just kind of hoping for the best. Because that's when I started being like, okay, I can draw human faces decent, but I'm kind of discovering hands, where this year it was like I could draw hands pretty much fine, and shading was a lot of fun and stuff like that. Using a lot more color theory, and I was more concerned about posing than color and shading, if anything. I think that's ultimately what I've been working on more, is concerning on posing for humans/humanoids, because I definitely pose my humanoids very similarly nowadays, which I'm trying to solve, but I can't help it sometimes where I'm like, no, it looks better this way. Like, I tend to have my drawing's face go looking this way. They always looking left. Ooh, I can't draw them looking right. I think I've had them looking that direction for years too. Yeah, it would seem so. Yeah, I think it's like for a lot of people, I think they have character's face whichever is their non-dominant hand, which I could completely be making up right now and be wrong. But I'm right-handed and I have my characters facing the left usually. And if I have them facing the right, it's because I flip the canvas and I cheat. Because I just cannot draw them looking left and them looking right to me. Or looking correct to me. I think they look weird if I have them looking the other way. I'm just like, no, something's off here. This boy ain't right. So I tend to do that with my art. But I am trying to get better. But it be how it be. It takes time. Like, I know one of my friends was just like, I'm just gonna give up. You're such a natural talent. And I was just like, dude, no, I was not naturally talented for art whatsoever. If you want to see an actual prodigy, I know a prodigy in art that I've seen from when they were like 10 being great with art. Where when I was 10, I was awful with art. And oh my gosh, this person, their art's so good now too. They're probably, gosh, they were 10 in like 2017 or 2016, so they're like, so 11. Well, they would be 11 in 2018, 19, 20. So they would be about like 15 right now. But they're not, from what I've seen, really active on social media anymore, which is fine. They were a young Warrior Cats kid that I've met on Amino. They're super talented. And I absolutely love their art. And I'm very grateful to have some art of my character Flamepelt from them. And because their art was absolutely stunning. And they, on Tumblr, have some Danganronpa art. And I can't remember what their username is particularly right now. But they were absolutely such a fantastic artist, and I just was like, how are you able to do this at the young age of 10? When I was 10, I was just drawing circles and struggling so bad. Where, like, now it's like, okay. Like, honestly, I think their art's still better than mine, in my opinion. But I'm really glad, you know, that they're able to be so good at art from a young age. Because if they keep going with it, imagine where they'll be when they're my age now. Like, they could really be making a name for themselves by the time they hit my age. And who knows where they will be. And I hope for the best for them, because their art was so amazing. If you know who I'm talking about, shout out to you. I doubt it, but if you somehow do, shout out to you. But yeah, but my friend was like, oh, you have your young age, and I was like, dude, no. Because I'm trying to think. When I was 10, I would have been in like 4th grade. Yeah, because I would have turned 9 in 3rd grade. So I would have been drawing similar to like, it would have been like a single circle, because I didn't know what sketching really was. Be like that. Then like that. Probably, yeah, more like that. And then, because my teacher taught us how to draw dogs in a really simple way, and this was it. It would be like something like that, how I would draw them. And then as I got older, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more creative and I would do this. But yeah, that's basically how I drew them from when I was like 10. And then, I should probably save this, now that I think about it. Well, and I'm trying to think of when I actually kind of started, like, really forming my art style. I would say that was like my own. It would be, shoot, it would probably be like, I'd think when I was probably like 11, so probably like 2011, 12. Maybe a bit in 10, maybe a little bit. Hold on. Like, I have a photo somewhere. Oh, it's on my Instagram. Yeah, that's where it is. Where I have, a photo of one of my old drawings from when I was a kid. Gosh. I found it in my sister's room. It was crazy. I was like, bruh, that was me. And then I like never stopped drawing since. I got in trouble in school a lot for it. And my mom would be like, well, that sucks, teachers, this kid has no plans on stopping. It was like, damn straight. Didn't help that I was very much into Warrior Cats. Which I will admit, I'm still very much into the Warrior Cat fandom. I don't really interact with the fandom itself anymore. I'm very much of a like, I'll make art and I'll like say nice things to some artists, you know, and like follow people, but I don't really plan on doing any more maps anymore. I've only been in like one and that was enough for me basically. And yeah, I just realized, oh, there's someone in here. I'm not talking to myself now. Oh god. But I just think that when it comes to like Warrior Cat stuff now that the person's gone, yes. Can talk to myself mindlessly again. When it comes to Warrior Cats, that I have learned that I need to probably, like, I wouldn't say distance myself, but just, I don't think it's fully worth my time to fully put energy into anymore. I used to think that it was the only way that my art would get recognized and this is the only thing I could do, but I don't think that way anymore. Um, I I love Warriors still. It is the first like book series to ever really catch my eye and to like give me the inspiration I do have for my stories that I have for my own characters. Um, and so it's um, weird how I view my intake of Warriors content more as a hobby, more than anything nowadays. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that! I love how this person animated like Firestar. Or, oh, I love how they depicted the relationship between these two characters. And I am very much still within that, like, okay, that zone of where like I'm more of a just a consumer of the content nowadays. I still draw the characters now and again, and I post it, of course, but it's not all the time. Like, I had a sketch open actually before I started my computer earlier of like a Sandstorm being all like a little blushy from when she was falling in love with Firestar and stuff like that, because I love them as a couple. I really do. Um, and also Warrior Cats is also like definitely shaped my love of certain music genres. Like, this particular playlist is actually formed because of certain maps that have like this kind of music for like either the songs or the endings. Like, this song has Meet Me in the Woods Tonight. Like, let me actually look at some that I have been in Warrior maps. King and Lionheart is in this one. Always Gold. I think Mountains is in it. Saturn. Um, Valley is in here. Hello My Altar hasn't been used in anything, I believe. But there is definitely a lot of songs in here that have been used as map songs and stuff. And yeah, so this playlist in particular has definitely been shaped from Warriors maps and stuff like that. At first I wasn't too fond of the genre, but I find this playlist very relaxing, and I think it's just nice to listen to when I want to just kind of vibe and chill out. Like, this is Saturn. And yeah, this is Saturn, I believe. Now this one's light. This one, was this ever used in... I think this might have been used in a Warriors map, but yeah, this playlist is definitely shaped. And I definitely love, like, punk rock more because of Warriors. Like, or sometimes metal, I think, more too, because of Warriors too. Like, let me tell you, when I was like 10 years old and Bone Shatter came on, was I like being like, oh yeah, let's go, dude. And then in 5th grade, there's the song, there's the Last Resort Ashfur video. And I remember being in 5th grade and our teacher had the radio on and Last Resort came on and I knew exactly which song it was and I never saw my teacher move so fast to turn a song off because I was like, cut my life into pieces, this is my last resort, suffocation, no breathing, don't give a fuck if you cut my own breathing. Obviously it would have been radio version so it wouldn't have fuck in it, but it's a song about like, if you know the song, but I remember that song coming on and I was like, dude, I could have bopped to this. And what was funny is I was really into the Warriors books in like elementary school, but I had no clue they were in the library at the school, so I didn't read any of the Warriors books until I was probably in until I was probably 11, going on 12, because this person I kind of had made friends with in 6th grade. This is when I would have been in middle school. This was before in my town that 6th grade was strictly elementary school. But this was when I was in middle school, 11 going on 12. Sorry, I keep getting distracted because of what I'm doing. Anyway, this person that I kind of made friends with was like, oh yeah, I have the first Warriors book and I don't really plan on reading the rest. Do you want the first book? You can have it. And I was like, brother, you have no idea how much you've made this person happy. And so I read the first book that way. Turns out, actually, I didn't really care for the first book of the series, but that also is because I knew everything about it, because by that time, the YouTube animator, Tribble of Doom, had already finished, like, the whole thing for the first book of Into the Wild. And at that time, that was unheard of because no one has ever completed, I think, the first book and the truest form of the book, or like has been the book and not a comedy like the ones by I forgot who it's by. It's gonna eat me alive. But it's the like kind of parody version of Into the Wild, and my favorite part of the parody is when it's Lionheart being like, I'm Lionheart. I'm Lionheart. And then Graystripe proceeds to, we're not gonna actually go into that. So I didn't really read the first book that much. I kind of skimmed over it, be like, oh yeah, I know all of this. Okay, yeah. These are pretty much all that happened in the book. So I don't really need to read it, but when I got my hands on Fire and Ice, that's when it all went down. And I just loved Fire and Ice and everything. Would it be something more like this, I believe. Chiffon ruffles. Guess it's kind of like this. Not fully. But anyway, actually, I'm gonna also find the other image just so I can have it as a reference up on my other monitor. I apologize, I have my references on here, but when I'm doing line art, it's not too useful. So I'm pulling them up on my other monitor to kind of look. Because the references I have are by two different artists. One is by the person that owns the character, and the other is by, I believe, the person that owns the character's friend. And I'll say I absolutely adore their friend's artwork. Their art is so nice. I mean, I also love the person that commissioned me art, but I really, really like the art that's by their friend. Like, it's absolutely great. Like, this is what I dream my art would look like. But anyway, as I was saying with the Warriors stuff, I guess, is that I got into the Warrior stuff at a very young age, to where it definitely shaped my love of certain music genres, which honestly I'm not surprised that it kind of solidified a music genre that I think I already kind of was in love with. So, because it absolutely like got solidified recently. The reason why I love rock and like this type of music is because I was raised on or my older sister is a person that's really into musicals, and so I kind of inherently got into them because of her. And so I recently was able to tech for our local community theater for... Hold on. I am so bad at ruffles. At our local community theater, I was able to do tech for this musical that I absolutely love called Rent. And holy crap, I was jamming the entire time while the music was going. I was just having such a great time listening to the music and the kids sing, because we were doing a high school version. of the show, and I just had such a fun time just listening to the music and remembering how much I loved it. Because Rent, the movie, came out in 2000. When did the movie come out? Rent motion picture. The motion picture came out in 2005. So practically as long as I've been like sentient. And actually, I think I can play it. You know what? I'll have to think of what songs I can play that are on the safer side. So we're gonna like go non-shuffle so I can kind of have. So it's this type of music. It's called a rock opera, I believe that's what it's called, the genre of it. So I absolutely love this type of music in general, and I really think that this movie and Warriors has definitely shaped my love of like punk rock and rock in general. The air. And I was so lucky to be able to watch these kids perform for 2 weekends and have such a fun time with this show, honestly. And it was just amazing to see how they depicted these characters that I've known since probably before most of them were born, actually. Because they're in high schoolers now. They might have been born the year this movie came out. Maybe. Because they would be. I was in high school. I was out of high school in 2018. And it's been about 4 years. So they might have been a year old or so when this movie came out. And this particular song is one of my top favorite songs. Getting dizzy. And I did light cues for this show in particular, which it was absolutely a ball to do. And I'm so glad I was able to have fun with a show like this because I actually got paid to do this show, so that was even cooler to work on a show that I have loved since I was a kid and get paid for it. And because of doing this show, I actually was like, hey, if you guys need someone to come in for the next show they're doing, which is Coraline, the musical, hit me up because I had a blast. And apparently they are willing to probably hire me for that, which is amazing because I know they've been needing tech people for a while, which is great. And it's really fun to get back into theater again. But as I was saying, I got really off topic. But this musical really shaped my music taste and definitely the early Warriors community, because I love music like this. And then my other favorite song is in here. I'll Cover You is one of my favorite songs, but it's a sadder song. But I love this song. This was my favorite part of the. This is my favorite part of the show was I'll Cover You reprise. The second was this one, and the third one was Rent, which is technically the opening song to the musical itself. In the movie, it's not, but it's close enough. And I absolutely love this song. It's one of those songs that kind of that got repressed in my memories, but then when I heard it again, I was like, "Oh my god." Yeah. And I just absolutely would die for this music. Cause I don't know, it's just such a nostalgic feeling. It's like this song from when I was a kid. Phantom of the Opera is also a very nostalgic show for me. What's another very nostalgic show for me that I'm trying to think of that I watched as a kid? Draw until you frown. I want to say Sweeney Todd, but I didn't watch Sweeney Todd till I think I was in middle school. Though actually, one of my favorite musicals actually is a show called Reefer Madness. It's an 18 plus movie, definitely. It's for older kids because it's one of those movies where it's supposed to scare it was one of those movies that was made to be like, hey, don't let your kids do marijuana. It makes them into monsters. And I think the original was actually taking itself seriously, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but the one that I'm familiar with is the motion picture one, where it's the musical, and it is so much fun. I absolutely love the music in that musical so much, and I really love the opening number. It is definitely on the raunchy side, and it plays into stereotypes a lot, and it's definitely on the ridiculous side. Be like, okay, weed really does not make you do this, so that's crazy. Cause oh goodness, cause like it like tells them, be like, it's like telling the like parents, be like, your children are becoming these awful people. They're now like they're like prostitutes and stuff like that, where it's like, no. More likely than not, when you do weed, you're like to lay down and be like, okay, it's time for food, I'm hungry. Like, as a person that's gotten technically high on like weed or like vaped, like that type of stuff. This is finale A, which is really sad. Finale B is really good. But it's very much of, oh, what was I? As a person that has gotten high before, it, how do I explain it? So my sister-in-law, she I'm an open book, by the way, so anyone that watches this later, hi, I'm me. I hope you don't mind listening to me babble for like over an hour. But she was also high, I believe, at the time. We were in Vegas. And we had brought in a cooler with us because we didn't want to pay extra to get the like mini fridges to be put in our room. And so we had like a cooler that had ice in it, and so we had sandwiches in it, and one got wet, and she was like, hey, come touch this. And so this is the first time I got like really high, and I thought it was the funniest thing on the face of this planet. I was laughing so hard. And so like, more than likely if you get high off of stuff like weed, you're just gonna be very like susceptible to laughing, and you're gonna get hungry. That's how I've at least experienced it. But also you don't want to go too hard on when you do, especially if you're getting high the first time, because if you take way too much, you can have a really bad trip, from what I hear. So like I know a couple people that when they got high for the first time, they had way too much, and yeah, it can be really bad. So that's the only time when it's like it can really affect you and be bad. So yeah. But Reefer Madness is fun. If you watch it, I think it's a rated R movie actually, which I know most people don't really care anymore. Like, technically speaking, when I watched it, I probably was in maybe middle school, maybe 6th grade. I don't know how to spell reefer. There it is. It's 2 E's. Film. That also came out in 2005. What's the rating? It is... film rating. It is... Imagine it's like... Yeah, it's rated R. It definitely earns the R rating. It's still a really good movie though. It's just up there in the holy crap, I can't believe this is happening type of deal, honestly. And so it's one of those where you kind of want to be careful when you watch it, I would say. It earns its rating that it has. I can definitely say that, and I probably was a little too young to watch it. But, you know, kids do the darndest things. And I was definitely one of those kids where I was just like, but what if I just watch the movie? Because technically speaking, I would get taught the lesson not to do weed. So I don't see the harm in it. And I watched the movie anyway at my grandma's house, and my grandma was like, what the hell? And then my older sister found out that I took her Reefer Madness copy from her, which I was not supposed to do. But, you know, kids do the darndest things. And she was not happy when I got home from my grandma's house. So that was the thing. So, but Reaper Madness, good movie. Watch it at your own discretion. It is definitely up there in raunchiness. And holy crap, I can't believe they did that. Slightly on the offensive side, I will admit. But I think it's a good movie. But I'm trying to think of, like... Wicked. Wicked is actually one of my other, like, very nostalgic shows, musicals from when I was a kid, because, my sister was really into Wicked when I was a kid. And so, like, I knew basically, well, I wouldn't say I knew the whole story from when I was a kid. I was aware vaguely of the thing, and so I grew up viewing the Wicked Witch of the West in a very different light than some if they didn't know the musical Wicked. I honestly love the musical Wicked, and I think it's honestly superior to the actual story of Wizard of Oz. And also, I just can't get behind the original movie of Wizard of Oz, considering all the stuff that happened on set with that movie. It is absolutely horrific what happened to Judy Garland and the actress that played the Wicked Witch of the West, the original Tin Man. It's just crazy how there's so many movies from back then that they let so much stuff slide the way they did, to like the child abuse and just lead poisoning and stuff like that happened in the filming of that particular movie. So I don't really care for that movie. I remember seeing it in theaters when they were doing a rerun of it. It was probably for one of its anniversaries, I'm guessing, and I was just like, this movie's eh. I could be home watching SpongeBob right now, and this would be probably more entertaining for me. But, you know, it's a classic, but I personally think Wicked is way superior. I think the story's way better, and that I think the characters are way more well thought out than anything. And Elphaba and Glinda's relationship is so sweet and so sad. And I just absolutely love it. And I really do. But they were definitely the more nostalgic musicals for me during that time. Rent and Wicked are definitely my, like, shows that definitely influenced me, I think, the most in music, and how I love them so much. And then, like, I think regular music that's really influenced me is the Beatles. My mom raised me on the Beatles, and so they are probably one of, I would say, the other biggest influence on me musically, because I absolutely loved the Beatles, and I still love the Beatles. They are some of my favorite. They have some of my favorite songs to listen to at times. Like, I don't know why, but Obla Di Obla Da fucking hits different, man. And might have some of the weirdest music ever made, I will admit. And you can tell definitely which songs they made while they were under the influence of drugs and probably some like acid, LSD and stuff like that. You know, 60s was a wild time. But man, do I love their music. And I have many records of them because my mom used to have a huge record collection from them, and she gave me those records, and so now I have a decent record collection that has several Beatles albums. And my grandmother also gave me a couple Beatles albums, and my sister actually got me a Beatles album for Christmas, I think this past year. And so my my record player that I have that I'm actually getting replaced this year too for Christmas, I actually the way I had it on display for the longest time was that I had my Beatles album on top of it. I had one that was sitting down. I had like these like Harry Potter wands that I have, and then I would have one tilted on the wands to kind of display it. And my friend, Cynthia, would say that I had a Beatles shrine, and I also called it my Beatles shrine. And we were playing this game called it was one of the Jackbox games, or it was like, you know, I think it was Quiplash, if I'm not mistaken. And I basically did one where I was like, I said I had like a Beatles shrine, and one of our friends, now my friend's boyfriend, was like, nah, that's not true. And Cynthia was like, no, that's true, I've seen it. And I was like, ha ha ha, get fucked. It's like, you fool. It's like, yes I do, you just haven't seen it, because you haven't been in my room. It was really funny, because I guess he's also like a really big Beatles fan. So he was like, bruh, and I was like, yeah dude, I got raised on that from the moment I came out of the womb. It's like, could I do Beatles trivia? Probably not, I will be honest. But will I try my damn best? Yes. Yes, I will. Am I gonna say all the Beatles members were, saints? Hell no. Like, I know, like, personally for me, I don't really like John Legend. He was not a good father. And I personally think he probably wasn't really a good person. 'Cause, yeah. Most people like to say, oh, Yoko Ono, and honestly, it's like, yeah, I don't think Yoko Ono was probably the best influence on him. So I think the both of them were doing drugs and stuff that weren't good for the both of them, and she was kind of weird in general. But, mainly because of his abandonment of his eldest son is, I think, what really got me. I'm a person that's very big on, you know, you take care of your kids, man. You brought them into this world. And he just basically completely abandoned his eldest son, Julian, and Hey Jude was made in dedication to him, and I don't think Legend fully knew that it was at the time, I believe. And it wasn't written by John Legend at the time, too. I think it was written by Paul McCartney, if I'm not mistaken. And then, whatchamacallit, when, and then they had the second son, and he had his second son with Yoko Ono, and, I I know after John Legend died, whatchamacallit, Julian had like the complete right to be like, you know, talk crap about, you know, his father's wife, but he didn't because he wanted to, you know, have contact with his younger brother, which I think is very, very sweet and mature of him, because Lord knows I'm not mature enough to do that. I would be like, nah, screw that shite. My dad was a piece of crap, but he's better than a lot of us. And I definitely think he is a good guy. I think he does music too nowadays, actually. But I could be definitely wrong. There's a lot of things that have influenced me over my life, and I could ramble about that for hours. Honestly, if you gave me a chance. And honestly, that's what I've been doing this entire time, because technically speaking, I am talking to myself. And I am basically in streamer mode in my head right now, because, yeah. Because I do live stream on Twitch sometimes. I have been very absent on my Twitch recently. I have not done a live stream on there for a while, and I should. I am due for a playthrough of another playthrough of Dark Souls, but I have gotten very behind in that. I'm trying to remember what arm this is. Okay, it's that arm. But I have been very behind on my Twitch streaming, and so I have decided that if I want to stream at night, I am just gonna go on here. Because yeah. Because technically speaking, I was supposed to stream on, Thursday. I do art streams on Thursday, but I have been neglecting that because of one, for this particular, for Rent, the show I was doing, they had, showings for it on, Thursdays, which is very unusual for, musicals slash shows in general. So yeah. And, it was just a weird thing because, well, I guess it makes sense because, there's no school for these kids, and so basically how it was, the setup was that, we wouldn't be doing, we would do shows on Friday or Thursday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And those would be our show days, basically. And so we wouldn't have to do Sundays, which was kind of nice. And I think it's probably because of, like, church stuff and whatnot, ultimately, with some people. And I think it's I know there was a couple, I know there was at least one parents that were really religious, which their kid was in the show, which I was very surprised because that show is very ungodly, in my opinion. Rent is a very what many would call ungodly show. But you know, it be how it be. And yeah, and so that's how the showings went. But it was fun. I'm really glad I got to do it because gosh, this song's pretty loud. Hold on. Because I was in theater in high school, and unfortunately I had to separate from theater kind of um when I was in high school, and it was very unpleasant the way I did. And so I've been very hesitant to get back into theater, and I've done things for our local like theater, like we did Wizard of Oz, and I personally helped handle the dog that played Toto. So I got to basically just sit in a room with Toto before the show started and hand Toto to people and make sure everything was okay. And during intermission, I took Toto to the bathroom and stuff like that. She was such a sweet little baby. I love Toto. She was such a cute little doggo. Too bad her owners are kind of... At least her mom was kind of an asshole, but... It'd be like that. The dog was super adorable. I loved that dog. And, that's all I love that dog with all my heart. And then, that's basically all I think I ever really did for our local theater within the past, like few years after high school. I think I basically only did that. And I was fine with, like, keeping my distance a lot like that from our local theater. I was just like, you know, I'm okay with not being involved with them at all, because I also wasn't on good terms with a couple people there, and so I was like, you know, I'd rather just not get myself upset or them upset, you know, when I can easily just not be in there, because I wasn't really involved with our like local theater, you know, the way they were. I always kind of was standoffish with our local theater because they didn't have the best reputation at times, and which wasn't all the actors' faults. It was unfortunately the people that were leading it or in charge of it at the time. And so I just was always like, yeah, no, I don't like our local theater. I think they're ran by a bunch of assholes, and just kind of avoided them at all costs. But now they've had like a whole like change of system and management, and they're a lot nicer and open to change and reforming a lot more stuff, which I am very glad, because they had a huge problem. And I've become very open with like doing stuff there now. And so like my sister, because personally for me too, I'm trying to save up to move out of state. And so my sister was like, dude, they need a person at the local theater, and you know how to do lights, so you want to do this? And I was like, I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. And like, I've met several people that are there, and I like the new artistic director. They're actually a person that got me into Little Shop of Horrors because they sang at like this little thing they used to do. He sang "Feed Me Seymour," and holy crap, did he sing "Feed Me Seymour" so well. And because of him, I got into Little Shop of Horrors a little bit. I thought, holy crap, this is so good. And so I'm I'm glad that he became the new artistic director. And then whatchamacallit, the dude that designed the lights that I was going to be like, you know, click, because basically the board, he would create cues and then I would follow the script and be like, okay, next cue, whatnot. But obviously to do lights, you have to have a decent sense of music or like rhythm, or you're just gonna kind of be confused, honestly. Because if you don't have a sense of rhythm or anything, you're gonna kind of be screwed over, in all honesty. And so, it was really fun. I already kind of knew him, because, like, he's my sister works for our local school district and, like, doing stuff for, like, managing the theaters, when the kids are like doing stuff in there for like shows, or like when sometimes churches rent out the theaters, and so she goes in there and does that stuff. So I kind of already knew of him, and so there he was like, okay, hi, nice to meet you. And he was like, you got a sense for music and stuff? And I was like, yeah, I was inquiring stuff, so I kind of understand stuff like this. And he was like, good. And then he proceeded to, he only had like 2 days to design the lighting, and he did it. What a fucking mad lad. And I got to do cues for that, and it was so much fun. And I'm so glad I took the opportunity when it was given, and I got $300 out of it. So that was also epic. So I have $300 going towards when I move away from where I am now. Which, thank the stars. Which, actually not thank the stars. I'm relatively happy in California, but I want to live with my friend, and since they live... Fuck, keep clicking that. They live across the country, and so our compromise was to live in a midway state for them and me. Be like, okay, our families are like halfway to you, and my family's halfway to me, so it's fair. And he also has friends there, which is also cool, so it won't be like a complete like shell shocker either. He's been there. For me, it's gonna be different because I've never been to because we're looking into moving to Texas and stuff. And so to me, it's gonna be like, holy crap, what am I doing here? But I do actually have a sister that lives in Texas. So I'm hoping to meet her finally, because I have never met her in my life. My dad's a man whore. So, but I can't wait to meet her when I move there finally and live with my very close friend. So this will be very, very fun to do and experience, because I am only 22 years old, and I think young people should be able to kind of experience the world before they settle down for where they want to be. And I very much live by that. Just be like, you know what? I think people should experiencing things when they're young. I think it's stupid that a lot of people are of the opinion where it's like, oh, you know, when you're older, you'll experience things. It's like, why do I have to wait till I'm older when I can just do it now and save money while I'm young? And, you know, if I have the money, I can just do it now than when I'm older and I can't do things because, like, it's like sometimes when you're older you can't, you know, do certain things you can do when you're younger. Like, I know personally for someone like me, if I ever wanted to visit Italy where, like, my family lives, it would be really hard on me when I am older, because I have a really bad back. And so if I'm older and I decide to go, it's just going to be a pain in the ass because, you know, I have a bad back. And it's just going to get worse as I get older, you know, because I'm old. So I'd rather, you know, explore and see the world for what it is now than later. I think it would be way more fun. Alright, this character has... I forgot what the condition it's called. The like, skin condition. But I really like this character. I think they're really cute. It's gonna be a bit weird to do the blushes for this character, I think. Actually, yeah, it looks like... because the way I do blushing, but I'll just have to tackle it and figure it out. Alright, if I go decently silent now, it's because I'm trying to concentrate and making this character look close as possible to the reference. sense of a song I can't get out. Can I be close to you? Can I be close to you? Can I take you to a moment where the fields are painted gold and the trees are filled with memories? that part of her done. Now I gotta think about how I am going to do her blushes. Because how I do blushing is. Yeah. So. We're going to. I guess start with. Wait. One of her ears is actually. It's this one. Is it? I'm just going to assume her entire. That's the wrong brush. I think her whole ear. It's like that. And I don't think her other ear is. No, so. So we're gonna do how I usually would do it. I'm just gonna kinda have to figure out how to connect them properly. Because I'm not quite sure how that's gonna work. So we're gonna try our best. I have a very stylized way in how I do my blushes. Or not really stylized, I guess. I'm actually, though, going to put my blush colors over here. Let's just go a little bit more this way. It's a little too red. I think I need to do her blushing without that there for now. It's not gonna perfectly line up, but doing the best I can, honestly. For the most part, I don't really mind. Also forgot to do at least some over here. Then just a little bit on the chin. Just a little bit. Slightly darker over here, just a wee bit. Hopefully once I put more of the flats in here, it'll start coming together. Typically, I'm supposed to go help. I did this one in Sai. And you can kind of tell when I switch back and forth because of like the brushes I use pretty much. If you like look at it, you can tell like this brush is not the brush I use in Clip. And yeah, I don't know how to describe it. Also, the backgrounds are a little bit more put together and not, I have to go over into Sai and copy and paste a background and figure out which one looks good and not and then going back and forth, because I still, for backgrounds, I still go into Sai for that type of stuff, because this is where all the textures are that I use for backgrounds. And yeah, this is where I get them. They're heaven sent. I am so glad that Sai has this feature. But anyway, the pros and cons. Sai is good, but unfortunately it has not been updated in years, and it has some things that like Clip obviously has and this doesn't. Like, I wish pattern brushes were more of a thing inside. They're not really, at least from what I can do, and creating like brushes and like actually getting them from other people I find are just so hard. Where with like Clip, it is the easiest thing to make brushes and download brushes from other people. It is one of the best things, and it has an active community still into making the app better. And also it has for mobile and all kinds of stuff. And I highly like appreciate the amount of work that still gets put into the program itself still, compared to a lot of other like programs that don't really get worked on anymore, like, you know, Psy, unfortunately. Even though I absolutely adore Psy with all my heart, it is one of my most beloved apps that I use. Also, the autosave feature in Paint Tool Psy I think is absolutely phenomenal, and I love it to death. 2 bits, 2 pieces, and I think it's one of the best out there and stuff like that. For Paint Tool Psy 2. Paint Tool Psy 1 does not have a autosave feature from what I can tell. I've seen where this one does, and it has, of course, text, some shape stuff, a little bit more nifty compared to Paint Tool Psy 1. Obviously, I doubt it would ever be made, but can we get a Paint Tool Psy 3? I'd be interested to see how they would compare in the game with how the current market for art programs are. Considering there's so many competitors nowadays, since there's Fire Alpaca, Metabang, Krita, I've used every single of those apps I've just mentioned, GIMP. Technically there is a Paint 2, but it's really bad. In my opinion at least. I used it when I was really young because it had layers and it was called Paint. And it was quote-unquote the successor to Microsoft Paint, which it was not. It was not the successor to it. It was a complete lie, and they fooled me. But did I still use it? Yes. And there's other stuff out there, and I can't remember that one program I used to use when I was younger. That was free. Can't remember the name of it for worth the life of me. But it's out there somewhere. But there's just so many competitors nowadays, and Psy at the time I think was like, I don't know, Psy was very much a product of its time, and when you saw people drawing it, you're like, oh my god, they're drawing with Psy, oh my god. And I was one of those people. I was like, oh, they use Paint Tool Psy. That's so cool. I love the way this program looks. And then when I finally used it, I was like, oh my god, I love this. And I still love it. I find that I'm still very fast when I use Paint Tool Psy still. I work a lot faster, I find, when I use this program, which I'm not really too surprised at. It is a program that I've been using since like 2017, maybe 18, and I have just used it for so long that I have become very much super experienced with it over the years. And so it makes sense that I am able to use it as much as I do. It really does. I absolutely love this program, and if I wasn't as well diverse in using this program, I would be very disappointed with myself. Because it would be like all those years I've put into using this program are for naught. But no, I've definitely put so much time into learning how this program works and all its bells and whistles, I guess you could say. Because oh boy, I put so much time into learning this program, and I was so happy when I was finally able to have it. I was like, yes, yes. I am now one of those people that use Paint Tool Sai. I'm so happy. Even though many would say it's overrated, but I personally like this program. I think it's definitely one of the... I think it runs smoother. It doesn't give me as much bugs. Like, God, there's this one bug in Fire Alpaca that used to drive me insane when I would put my cursor down. It would have like a dot at the beginning of the line, and like my pen pressure didn't really work, and I would have to like click on the screen so many times until it finally went away, and it used to drive me up a wall. But I never had that problem in Sai, obviously. And so I was like, you know what? No, I'm not doing this. And so like after that, I basically quit using Fire Alpaca. Fire Alpaca, the only reason why I used it at times was to do some blur and render stuff with it. But I don't even really use Fire Alpaca anymore. I don't think I've opened up the program itself in like over a year. The only times I ever have used it is when I want to like animate, pretty much, because I figured out how to do the animation stuff in it. Or like, but I don't even really animate, so it doesn't really matter. And if I do, I'll just do it in Clip now, since I have, I think it's called ClipX. Since I have like the first full version of Clip, it doesn't really matter if I have Fire Alpaca anymore. And also, I don't really animate in general, unfortunately, anymore. I just guess I'm just not very good at it, and the patience for it is not something I have. And I feel like if you animate a decent amount, you should have like some sort of patience and knack for it, which I just don't. I'm very much more of a still, you know, frame type of person. I always had the most fun rendering out the frames of my pieces than actually like whatchamacallit? I'm trying to think. My brain's making a going blank. Then like animating them, I just always thought it was kind of a pain, and things that had a lot of animation, I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. And so that's why I don't really animate anymore, or have like uploaded a Oh, I'm so sorry. Gitsby, I don't know when you I don't know if you're still here, but you can ask me a question if you're still here. I'm so sorry. I had another window open for the ref. But if you're still here, you can. I am so sorry. But anyway, I feel really bad now. I did not see that person. I completely lost track of what I was saying, so oh, animating. I I wanted to like do a bunch of animation memes and everything, you know, but honestly, it just in the end is not my thing. And so that's why I really haven't created any animation memes. And like I don't even know my last animation meme, like proper one. It was Baby Hotline, I believe. That's been like a few years now, and then I just like have given up basically with animation memes. It's just not as fun as I thought it would be. Like, I did, like, for example, when I did my animation memes, Baby Hotline actually was, a animation meme that took me quite a while because, I started making it, like, months before I, like, actually uploaded it. And I nearly dropped Baby Hotline. And that's because I just didn't really like how it was going. And I thought it was just not turning out good. But I eventually like kind of got inspiration for it again and started drawing the rest of the frames, and I reworked a decent amount of it. And so I was able to finish that basically, but it took a lot out of me when I made it, and I'm glad I did finish it because I got to draw a couple of my characters and kind of rework the story of theirs in my head. So that was cool because these characters were probably some of my older characters that I had that I really did like hold dear to myself. And it was nice to finally like design I already forgot his name. Um, but the winged one I really got was fun. It was fun to design him because I did base him off an owl and I love birds, so that was really fun. And so it was nice making and kind of showing their story in a way. I've definitely reworked it since I've posted it because it's definitely not exactly how it was anymore because I thought some of the concepts was kind of weird, so I definitely reworked some of the stuff with it. But for the most part, it's still the same, but there's just some key differences. But I'm very much so of, and just ignore that. I and then with my animation of Soldier Poet King, that was honestly very much of a whim. I made it. I made it right before I was going out of town, so to me too, it was like a passion project, I guess. Because I knew it was an animation thing that I could do really fast because it was basically just a walk cycle, and then I could just do a bunch of rendered images to kind of show the story I wanted to tell, which, you know, I did. And people were interested, which I was really happy that people were interested because they are characters that I do still plan on making a comic for someday. I love them dearly, and I still want to make comic pages or comics for them. And just right now, I can't because I just am just busy with life, and I just have other things I have to do before I can fully commit to making comics of my characters. I wish I could do it right now. It would mean the world to me if I could just drop everything and do the comics for those characters, because I absolutely adore them and would give anything just to drop everything and work on them, but I know I can't because I do not have the time and stuff to do that, even though I would love to. It's one of my, like, urges sometimes to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. But then I realize I am not in a place to actually sit down and commit to drawing a full-on comic. And it sucks that I am not in that space to do it yet, because oh boy, do I want to. But anyway, these characters for the Soldier Poet King, it was very much during the time when I was at my, I think, peak creativity with these characters too. So like I had so many ideas going through my head, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool, this is fun. Where now it's just like, I don't remember the last time I really doodled my characters. It's been a hot minute because I have decided to put off the comic for them. You know, so it's like working on it right now is not really my is very much not in my priority right now. Even though I would love to drop everything and just be like, yeah, boy, give it to me, give it to me. Let's go, let's just make this comic, let's just get it out there, because I nearly did that actually. I actually have episode 0 up, technically up on Webtoon, but I am totally going to change what episode 0 is. It is nothing like it is now. It has definitely changed from what it was going to be, because I have the plot actually all figured out now. And there's still some things I need to rework, and I will definitely be like asking for advice from friends and everything, and be like, hey, you know, is this concept cool, or should I change it, or would this make sense? Because there are some concepts in it where I'm not sure if it would work really still, which is fine because it's very much still in the like hard like, or whatchamacallit, it's very much still in the rough drafts in some aspects, because I am just trying to figure out what will work for the plot wise, and what would make sense for the universe, and if this kind of makes a plot hole and I have to write scripts and stuff like that. So it's like I have so much that I still need to like figure out to make things work correctly in the story. Cause oh my gosh, is the thing full of plot holes right now. And character relationships I have to figure out, and just their dynamics, and you know, why do these characters work so well together, and why do these characters possibly like each other? Why do they stick with one another? You know, why do they put themselves out there for, you know, said character? Is it just because of loyalty or friendship and stuff like that? And it's definitely, I kind of regret making Soldier Poet King because my animation meme, because I didn't realize how much the story would change from like when I posted it to when how it is now. It's very different from when the animation meme came up. Like, some of the characters have changed and where they play roles and stuff, and like some things it's like, man, I wish I would have kept this character kind of a secret and didn't show them in this meme, and if I kind of replace them, it might spoil something, and it's like, fuck. I made a oopsie, and I wish I could take this oopsie back. Because if someone really wanted to look back and be like, hey, why'd you change this character out for this character? Or like, I see what you did here. I'd be like, oh god, and then people, there's a possibility if someone does, they can be like, oh, I see how you changed these characters around, and be like, no, 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 no. Stop, don't say a word. It's just a paranoia, I guess, I have. But that's, I guess, a me problem. And, you know, I shouldn't have posted so hastily, but it was a passion project, and I was very happy with how everything was coming around. And at the time, I was kind of trying to impress someone I knew. And so it was like, hey, look what I can do. And they were like, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, yeah. And it didn't really work out with that person, but that's fine. I'm still friends with them. But, you know, it be how it be. But, yeah, animation just isn't really my thing anymore. I don't... It's just how it is nowadays. It kind of makes me sad in some aspects. I wish I could get back more into it, but I just do not have the patience, unfortunately, for animating. I would love to tell the stories of some of my characters through animating and showing their emotions through that aspect. But sadly, I cannot anymore. Because I just don't feel the motivation to. Like, I have animations in my head that I would love to do, but I just don't think I could ever do it. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I could have the willpower to be like, you know what, I'm doing this. I'm gonna animate my characters. They're gonna do stuff. Maybe I will actually do it. If I do, you know what? Good for future me. If I don't, too bad for future me. Sucks to be you, future me. But c'est la vie. If it does not happen, it does not happen. I'm just glad that I can do the art that I do now, basically. Alright. And that's ultimately what matters to me with my art now, is that I can just do the art that I want to do and have fun with it. Because I feel like when I was younger, I didn't have as much fun. with some of my art as much as I do now. I felt very, I think, saddened with my progress, I guess. But that's more of a, I guess, inner problem than anything. Because I know when, I don't think this layer has anything on it. I know when I was, like, in high school, I struggled really a lot with my art. Like, I really did not like my art. Because, during that time, I only drew animals and stuff. Where now I draw very much varied content. And the way I have my relationship with my art is very, very different compared to how it was when I was in high school. I was very insecure, I guess you could say, with my art back in high school. I just could not accept that I could not draw humans at the time. I was like, oh my gosh, why can't you be normal? Why can't you just not draw animals and be like everyone else? Or like, you know, just draw regular, like, just draw anime girls. It's gonna be easier on you. And I just could not understand why I couldn't do it. But it simply was because, like, some people are able to, like, kind of force themselves to learn certain things one way or another. But I'm unfortunately not that way with art. I just can. It's very unhealthy, from what I've heard, to do that with your art sometimes. Which I'm not too surprised about. Because for a lot of people, what happens when you do that to yourself, it sets you kind of back on a back pedal with your art progression. And I know personally for me, I just, like, could not properly do my art. I, like, went back in my art progression for people and animals, and I was just, like, so confused as to why I wasn't progressing. And then I realized, oh, I'm forcing myself to do something I don't want to do. And after I realized that, my art just kind of started progressing the way I wanted it to after a while. It took a hot second for it to do that, but it did. And I'm very glad I gave myself the chance to naturally grow the way I wanted to. Because if I didn't, I have no idea where I would be with my art, honestly. Because Oive was I pushing myself in a way to destruction with my art. It would have not been pretty. It would have been really bad if I kept going the way I was going. Cause yeah, I basically gave in to, like, the stigma of, oh, if I don't draw, if the fact that I'm drawing, you know, animals means I'm not as well as, I'm not as good as an artist as people that draw like humans and are able to do that, and I was, like, upset with myself. that I wasn't as skilled or well versed, I guess, as some artists, which is never something you should really do to yourself. It's not your fault that you're not at the skill level you want to be at. There's just, it takes time, and I just could not accept that I was not at that skill level. And the fact that I was so far behind really upset me. And I just kind of like imploded in a way, just being like, I'm so, like, I thought I was decent at art, I thought I could do this, but it turns out I can't. Like, what's wrong with me? And then, yeah, but after I guess after I started posting my art online again is when I kind of discovered that it's not me that's the problem, it's just I just need to give myself some time to get to the point that I want to be at. And sometimes that's all you need. You just need a little time to get to where you want to be with your art. And I eventually gave myself that time to ease into where I was, where I am now. Because where I am with my art now is very much where I desired to be years ago. Like, if I could show younger me, my younger self would be like, oh my god, how the fuck are you doing that? And I'd be like, you know what, kid, I don't even know, because I'm also very lost with what I'm doing. And it is just a whirlwind of figuring out yourself and what you want to do. Because, oh boy, there are times where I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? Like, why? How did I come to this conclusion with my art process? How did I get here? And it is just sometimes agonizing when you're at that point. Because you're just like, how did I do this? How did I get here? And it is fun figuring it out again and just working on your art yourself and, you know, just working on it. And I don't know how to describe it. It's just an interesting experience. Because you're just, I feel like art progression, you're kind of finding yourself through your art, and I'm definitely found like certain things about myself because of my art. And it's honestly really weird how I have, I guess, just like, yeah, it's just how I be. And I don't know how to explain it. It's just what I do. My art is my art. And I just do what I can with it, and you know, if it goes one way, you know, it's my artistic journey. And I'm okay with that. Because all you can really do is just hope that it goes okay. And that you'll make progress and you'll figure out what you want to do more and more as it goes on. Because there are some people that give up, and I think it's sad when they do. Because it's like, man, you were nearly there, brother. If only you stuck it out just a little bit longer. maybe you could have found what you were looking for. Though it's difficult, you know, trying to find certain things. 'Cause Jesus Christ. The amount of times I just wanted to give up was ridiculous. There are times where, like, I would say, like, even now, there are times where I kind of want to give up. It's just like, why? Why do I keep doing this? And then I realize that art makes me happier, and that I feel like giving up art now, for me at least, would just be... I would feel like I just wasted so much of my life. Where it's like, man, I put so many years into doing this, and now it's all gone because I decided, you know what, fuck it, I'm done. But I guess for some people that's... I know there's some artists out there that felt like they had to. And if they had to, I'm so sorry that you had to make that decision. Because I bet it was not easy to do that. Like, especially with, like... I know there's a lot of artists from way back when on YouTube that felt like they needed to because of, like, how toxic, like, their community could be towards them. Like, I know, what's their, I think their, YouTube name is Robin Raven Sky. Like, they had, like, this little animated series they were doing and everything, and I really liked it. And it was really unfortunate to see them, like, quit animating, and I think they even quit art altogether because people were just, like, being awful to them. And I was like, no, dude. Like, that person could have just... If they would have just stuck it out, I bet they could have just... They would have been such a pinnacle of, like, the YouTube, like, animation, like, community, and just become such an icon for it. And it sucks that they felt they had to leave because of people putting them down for their art. And oh my goodness, it makes me really sad when I think about them. Like, Robin Raven Sky, if you're out there, buddy, I hope you're doing alright, and I hope you continued doing art at least on your free time by yourself. You didn't have to share it online. You could have just done it in private and had fun by yourself, and that's okay. I hope you still did some for yourself, not others. Because damn, buddy, the way you were progressing with your art was amazing. Like, I lived to see their uploads. And I hope they were doing art on their spare time. I think their username was Robin Raven Sky. I could be wrong, but that's what I know them from. I think that's what their username was. I would have to, like, double check. I need to look at something. I need to look at an old commission that I did water for. That had water. Was it? Yes. It's a matter of remembering how to do water. If anyone wants to, like, know what I'm doing, basically I'm just trying to replicate, water rings, I guess. Basically, actually, let's see if I can find the image that I actually used to kind of, like, figure out how I did this. Let's see if I can find the image I used in particular. I think it was this one. It's very blurry, unfortunately. But I guess this image is, like, kind of the best. It's like, I'm not doing this completely right, I will admit, because I haven't done this in a while, but since I know vaguely what it's supposed to look like, it's fine. Because basically you just want to make a bunch of ovals, and, like, I kind of did it wrong, I'm not gonna lie. So that's why I'm, like, adding a bunch of, like, ovals and, like, round shapes to it now. Kind of fix what I did wrong. Because, yeah, I did not do a bunch of curved ovals. Because they're, like, kind of supposed to overlap in a way. I did not do that. So I'm kind of trying to fix it in some way. But you don't really want it to have, like, any points or anything like that, because, I don't know, water's not really sharp, I guess, is how I would describe it. But it can also be super stylistic, so honestly, it's up to how you want to do it. Because I could leave it at, like, just these, like, shitty circles, but I don't want to. I want to try and give my, like, best on how I would done it if I would have remembered how to do this. But it's been such a long time since I've really done any form of water and art, because the one I did was very much the first time I drew like water properly, I would assume. Or assume, like I know that's how it was. I don't know why I say assume. Like I actually like looked up references for how to like to make sure my shapes were right and that that I don't make it look so uniform, I guess. Because it's supposed to be very random. Yes, wake up, it's no use pretending. I'll keep still and breathe in her. Birds are leaving over autumn's ending. One of us will die inside these arms. Eyes wide open. She says if I leave before you, darling, don't you waste me in the ground. I lay smiling like our sleeping children. One of us will die inside these arms. Eyes wide open. As we came, one There we go. Though I am going to just for my own sake do a multiply layer. Then we're gonna do another one. Let's do a screen. I think screen will look better. There we go. And then her eyes. I want to actually open. Guess I can just use clip. Have this on another window. Because I think I'm just gonna finish coloring it. And then, I don't know. Not really tired. That's also because I took a nap earlier, so that does not help. I'm trying to see if this is... Okay, what's going on with her eyes? It's like they're kind of purple in a way. Okay. Okay. Let's get to her eyes then. Kind of purple looking. So let's... Jeez Louise, it's so pixelated. Let's do that color for now. Then we'll go from there. My bad. Oh gosh. I am all over the place right now. So I'm not surprised. I have not drawn for like a week. Okay. Looks like just like I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's like she has like a flower or like a starfish in a way in her eye. I am just absolutely butchering this other eye. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just I'm just gonna get this eye correct and then we're just gonna copy and paste. Shelter.
Show me hard. Come on, love. Come on, love. Watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart. And I'll be yours to keep. Born in the shadow where the sun
pinkish edge too.
Darling, you're with me, always around me. Only love, only love. Darling, I feel you under my body. Only love, only love. Give me shelter, show me heart. Come on, love, come on, love. Watch me fall apart, watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart, watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart. Only love, love, love. Only love, love, love. Only love, love, love. Girl, show me heart. Come on, love, love, love. Come on, love, love. Come on, love, love, love. Watch me fall apart. Come on, love, love. Come on, love, love. Come on, love, love, love. Girl, show me heart. Show me love, love, love. Show me love, love, love. Show me love, love, love. Watch me fall apart. Watch me fall apart. Darling, I feel you under my body. Darling, you're with me forever and
Okay.
always. Give me shelter, show me heart, and watch me fall apart, watch me fall apart. Playing our song, playing our song. Can you see the light? Can you hear the hum of our song? I hope they get it right. I hope we dance tonight before we get it wrong. And the season will change us new, but you're the best I've known, and you know me. I cannot.
It's gonna be a bit different how I do the, like, I don't know, how I do, like, I guess the shine, I guess, of eyes.
I was swimming, my eyes were dark till you woke me.
Probably gonna have to do it in a slightly different way than I usually do, as in terms of whether I'm gonna put a layer on top of it all.
Now I see you, the kingdom come, you're the one I want to see me for all the stupid shit I've done.
It's, oh, I like how this one.
Soaring 6 feet under, kept just like we were before you knew you'd know me.
I'll say I kinda, since I was drawing with a clip for I think nearly a year now, fully, I forgot how fast I was in some aspects because there's some like things with like clip that I'm still like really slow with, but when it comes to sides, like I feel like I'm on a whole different ball game. Okay. For now, this is good. I just mainly wanted to get the colors done. If anything, I might fix up the line art a bit more in terms of like stuff like this. And yeah, I think I'm gonna, if anything, do some stuff like that. Just so I can kind of get it out of the way before I do shading, because that is what I'm going to be basically doing next after all of this. And oh, I need to do that real quick too. One thing I do. Then with this, we're just gonna go this way. Comes to the blue. I'm living far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean. Let's see how all this works. It doesn't really work with the darker tone, unfortunately, so I guess not. I won't be doing that. But I really do like how this is turning out, and I can't wait to get to shading for it. So I'm going to send this whip to the commissioner, so I'm gonna call it here for the night, guys. Thank you to everyone that showed up and heard my babbling. I hope you guys got to know a little bit more about me, I guess. So, yeah. Alright, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I will see you